Welcome back to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales training podcast history. Today we have Bryan Neale with us, and he has a good microphone today.
I do. You're so happy. You've been waiting to say that, haven't you? I've had my overhead microphone up here, and it just wasn't cutting it. It had too much ambient noise. So we're back to the money. Back to the money. This is velvety, isn't it?
Just sometimes when I see movies, I know they're using the boom.
Yeah,
they have to be. They're not wired up, and the quality is so good. And it's like, I can't get that same,
ever, not even close.
Ever.
And it's the same. It's not the same, but it's a microphone that I have. This overhead thing that's above my head is a really good,
high quality.
Yes, high quality brand. It's got to be the engineering. Or the settings,
the post edit,
something like that. Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad to be back on the SM7B, Bill. Thanks for noticing. I feel validated.
I notice.
So, join Insider. So, what we had September. Are you doing? Are you moving the date for Labor Day?
Yeah, we're moving the date the day to the second Friday in September, just because of Labor Day weekend and all that. But we're going to be doing a follow up on content, how to create the right content to make the phone ring, to generate leads. We had session 1. If you didn't get a chance to get in before the first session last week or last month on that, if you join now, you can still get access to that, of course, so that you can prepare for the session in September. So it's a good topic.
Great back to school. So, like kids go back to school, like I want to put myself back to the sales school thing and join Insider. So, Bill, have you ever had a dream that seemed so real you can't shake it? It carries on with you. You've had a dream that you're just like, did that really happen, or was that a dream? You're like, oh, no, we've had that, right? Most people have had dreams that whatever. And oftentimes those are bad things where it's like something bad happened. Like, did that really happen? No, it was a dream. I had one last night that was one of those that I still feel is real. That was a good one. And it has to do with us.
Oh,
we were we were 2 questions on Jeopardy, and Alex Trebek was actually reading the clue. And the question was, the answer is, this is the longest running sales training podcast in podcast history. Guy buzzes in. What is the Advanced Selling Podcast?
Oh, he got it.
I'll take whatever podcast for 600.
Yeah.
Bill Caskey is the host of the Advanced Selling Podcast. Who is his co-host? And I was the other answer. And I'm like, good God, I've made it in life. I have been an answer on Jeopardy.
Please don't.
I woke up so happy. I'm like, yes. Can you believe
that is
Jeopardy? With the Advanced Selling Podcast was on Jeopardy. And it was Alex Trebek of all things.
Well, of course. Who else is it?
I know. It's a thing. So I'm just going to live in that.
Don't ever forget
the beauty of that dream was so fun and so funny. And the way he said it, because it was his voice saying it, I'm like, this is friggin' dream come true.
Well, it is for people. And I've heard that before when people get noted on Jeopardy. That's like, this is amazing.
100%. Yes.
You'd be an actor, but when you're an answer to a question on Jeopardy, it changes everything. Yeah.
Right. It just puts you in a whole new category of life. So if you need Jeopardy, talent people or question writers or listening, we'd love to be a part of your show. Be awesome. Funny stuff.
All right. So topic. Yeah, you have a topic.
Yeah, sure. So this was actually, what do you call it? Inspired, I guess, by even a this morning, a LinkedIn post that I saw where a really, really well-known popular guy in the sales enablement world was put up a post. He actually quoted Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said, when the tide goes out, I didn't fact check this to see if he actually said it. There's a picture of Warren Buffett like swimming in the ocean, which was kind of funny on its own. When the tide goes out, you can see who's swimming naked.
Mm-hmm.
When the tide goes out, you can see who's swimming naked. And then when the tide comes back in, then you see, everyone's back to kind of normal. Basically saying that, if you've got a really good, solid business, the tide goes out, you get your swim trunks on, you're good, you're clean. If you've been kind of faking it till you make it, or your fundamentals aren't good in your business, tide goes out, things are bad, you get hung up. We see this happening right now. And then this guy who wrote this made a comment, and he goes, I can't wait for the tide to come back in. Stay tuned for second quarter 2024. He went out on it's when it's coming. It's going to come back in Q2 2024. He made a prediction.
Okay.
And then we had our chairman of the Fed come on and say, mixed bag of things, right? Oh, it's good, and but we're still committed to raising rates, and inflation's out of control, and all this jazz. So, as a salesperson, we are so inundated with messaging from all things, social, news, radio, and it's all over the place. So, how do we vet through it? How do we, as salespeople, handle the influx of news relative, especially to the economy and our markets, and deal with that on a day-to-day basis when we're out in our territories making calls and that sort of thing? How do we process all the information, good or bad, as it comes to us?
Yeah, and what exacerbates that, it's a big word, Bryan.
I love that word. I love it.
Is that your company might also be making predictions. Maybe your CFO or somebody who's assigned themselves as the president of PR. They also have opinions. Everybody's got an opinion. So here's my quick answer, and then we can dissect. And I want to hear from you too.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Everybody lies.
Whoa.
And if you listen, Peter Mallouk is one of my favorite financial planners, and he's written a couple books. He's on MSNBC and Squawk Box, and he says, look, when you watch Jim Cramer make predictions, run the other way. Because he says Jim Cramer is wrong. And I don't like or dislike Jim Cramer. I don't even watch him, but he's been wrong on a lot of things. So Peter always says, nobody knows. If you're putting your faith and trust in someone who's predicting the future, they do not know. And two, everybody lies, meaning whenever I hear someone say the economy is either going to go up or down, it always feels like wishful thinking. Like if I'm a hedge fund guy and I'm selling short, of course I want the economy to tank because I can become wealthy beyond my wildest dreams. So when someone says to you these things, you have to listen to the person who's saying them and say, what do they have to gain or lose by saying this? And maybe they don't. Maybe they have nothing. But I think generally nobody knows and everybody lies is a really good. I mean, think of how many lies we've. I want to get into lies. But lies our government, lies our media has told us.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last 5 years, there is just a never-ending list, and so therefore, I'm looking at all these things I hear through very judicious glasses and believing nothing until I see it.
Well, that is excellent. And when you do that, you protect yourself because you have your own filter. And so it's you make your own judgments based on your own experiences directly in front of you.
Yeah.
So example would be, if the economy is tanking, I kind of look around, take inventory. I'd look at my checking account. I might look at where I'm spending money. I might look at my mortgage rate. I might look at my credit card balance. I look at my stocks, and I'm just taking inventory. And I'm like, okay, is it affecting me? It's like, oh, it's so bad. And I just got, one of my investment statements. I'm like, not so bad.
Looking bad.
Pretty good. I'll take it. This is bad. Let's keep it.
Bad.
Jeez.
Oh, bring it out.
It's like pizza, right? When it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Although I did have a frozen pizza the other night. Jane sometimes will buy pizzas. She always buys this one kind. And one time she went to the grocery store. They were out, so she bought another kind. I couldn't even finish one half slice of it. And that's very rare because like you say, it's like ice cream.
Yeah.
It's not
pretty good.
I'll choke it down.
Totally.
Non-fat.
What was it? Was it DiGiorno?
No, it was an off-brand. I think it was Costco brand usually Costco's pretty good. Pizza. Yeah, maybe it wasn't, but whatever it was.
Funny.
But yes, we need to take this back because I take stuff back. If the blueberries are sour or something, I'll take them back. But my wife never takes anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't take things back. It just takes too long. And it's like I know it's for $5. Like, what do you get your money back?
Well, but I mean,
next time
I'm not saying drive across town to take it back.
Oh,
next time you go to the store, I have a whole section in my refrigerator of take-backs.
They've got a camera. It's got your license plate tagged. It's like, here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. A tall guy with the frozen pizzas.
Grocery bag into the store. Full.
Hello, Bill. Bill's known at the Starbucks he goes to and at the Kroger return aisle. It's funny. It's good. I think that's I think it's really, really great advice. So then you're looking at your own personal deal. That's the part that I think is so difficult for salespeople as you're taking news in, you're taking information in external to you. And sometimes it's very macro. And so it's really important to stay attuned and into what your actual market is. When the news is bad, I think a lot of salespeople process that with fear. So instead of questioning it like it sounds like you're doing, Bill, you're questioning it. You're going, okay, is it bad? Is it bad in my deal? We're going, oh my God, it's bad. So it must be bad. So we start to dwell on bad.
Yeah.
And this gets into our thinking column and our head, heart, soul of selling. And where we're like, oh, it's bad. It's tough out there and all this other jazz. I was on a call the other day. So I've worked with a group, like an international group, and they have a heavy presence in South Africa. And they sell saw blades, like blades to people like on dirt roads. So one of my clients on a call like this, on a Zoom call in a nice cushy air conditioned area, was like, it's tough out there. It's tough out there. And I was in kind of a mood. I'm like, you want me to show you tough? You want me to show you tough selling? I pulled it up. I shared my screen, showed this post from one of my clients that said, this is one of our guys in the field. This is what commitment to selling looks like. And this dude is like pulling like 50-pound boxes of saw blades out of a truck in the middle of Africa on a dirt road, just what you'd picture. Yeah. No buildings, was one building, but you know what I mean? It's just, it's a mess. Like, that's hard. That's hard. So you're getting news. Like, it's hard out there. It's hard out there. Like, is it? Just question it. That's all. Is it really hard?
That's so true. That's so good.
Right?
That's so true. We just lose perspective, and we live in these comfortable air conditioned homes and with pools and slides and all this stuff. And we, when we lose sight of that, we play this movie of hardness in our mind. And it's just it's so fake.
It is.
And the older I get, and it sounds like you're in that same row, the older I get, I think, we have it pretty damn good here.
Oh my gosh. Beyond
pretty damn. We have it.
And then we were driving around town the other day. It was beautiful out. It's been hotter than hell here, like really hot. It's broke, so it's like nice. We're driving. I got a car. I got a new Bronco with no doors, no tops, cruising around. Awesome. And it just struck me. And it was the weekend, so I wasn't like in real work mode. But I'm like, if you ever need to believe in abundance, we just look at all of these buildings. I was saying this to my wife. I'm like, all these buildings have salespeople, every one of them. And we just kept going. And they have salespeople. And all those companies over there have sales. And this is little old the north side of Indiana. So no matter what anyone does, when they start to get this macroeconomic baloney that, it's hard out there, just look around at all the opportunity you've got to sell to. Even in a territory, it's just I told her it's mind blowing how much abundance there is in a marketplace. Mind blowing.
And so one thing I would say, if you are bothered by this topic and you hear it and you watch too much media, cut the media out. Because if you go under the philosophy that I espouse first, which is nobody knows and everybody lies, why would I ever listen to anybody on the media? Because either they're not knowing or they're lying. And again, I don't think they're lying intentionally. I don't mean that. I'm not into a conspiracy theory of there's a cabal of people who are saying, okay, let's lie to Caskey and Neale. And they're right. It's not that. But when you don't know and you have preferences for how you want things to work out, you will stretch the truth. So get away from media. Number two, the question always that I have is, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do today to plant some seeds so that I can harvest them in a week or tomorrow or a year from now? I think we're always in the planting seed business in sales, especially if you're in a long selling cycle. And what might that be? That might be cold outreach. That might be shooting podcasts like this or videos, or it could be any number of things. Today, it's a laundry list of things. But what are you going to do today? Once you turn off Fox and MSNBC and CNN, why do I always feel like I have to say Fox and I have to do the other? But anyway,
you have to stay.
But anyway, what are you going to do today to forget all that? Now you've opened up 2 hours of time because you're not watching TV. So what are you going to do? And hopefully you're going to do something that serves your client base and gets you noticed and helps them realize that you can solve problems that they didn't know they had or never.
That's such a good, you'll feel so light, so much lighter when you do that. And there's a generation who's not watching any of that news and who's getting it all on other socials, whether it's Instagram or the other thing. This is where I get a little conflicted, even personally, is on LinkedIn. And I live on LinkedIn. I love it. It's a great platform. You and I use it. We got a big LinkedIn group, and still there's all this pontification about where the economy's going and what's good and what's not. You see all the news of all the layoffs. So all the people, I've unfortunately been impacted by the riff at insert company name. please look me, da, da, da. And then you have the desperate ones. Those are coming through my feed now. I've been now unemployed for 6 months and da, 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 da. So I'm like,
yeah.
You got to watch yourself with that stuff, right?
Exactly. That's what I was just getting ready to say. You have to watch what goes into your mind because it matters. Your mind matters. And the question is, what influences your mind? Well, stories, external stories matter. Your family stories matter. Looking at your bank account and saying, you know what, I'm doing pretty well here. That matters. But we just have to monitor what kinds of messages we put in our mind. And that's why I don't like media, because they get paid for clicks. And the only way they get clicks is to create fear or anxiety or uncertainty or divisiveness. And I'm on a political but it's not a right-left thing at all. It's just, what the media wants. The media wants money, and the way they get that is through clicks, and the way they get that is through fear. So this whole idea of when you watch and you hear them say, oh, 2024 is going to be bad, just recognize they kind of hope it is, because it means clicks.
Something. Yeah. And I'll attest to this. There was I know someone who worked at an extremely large, well-known media company, and they, for their online offering, had a live real-time scoreboard for all of the article titles that were live on their site or their app. And it was up in the company. So like where you would sit down and have lunch, it was up there, and it was stack ranked. So the article
was, because I saw it.
The article that was the first one getting the most clicks was at the top.
Yeah.
And if you're the writer or the marketer or the editor of that place, you're watching that and you're going, well, that stuff's at the top, getting some traffic. Because when you take it to your advertisers and go, look at all these clicks we have, where are they coming from? Well, they're coming from that stuff. They're not coming from, Bill Caskey's stock portfolio went up 8% this month.
But what you're saying there is that, and that's all AI, that's all artificial intelligence that takes all these things and puts them together and says, okay, write more articles like this.
Yeah.
And then they write more articles like this, and then we consume more articles like this. So this idea that we're going to be controlled by AI, we already are.
The truth.
We already are. Right. When you go to YouTube, when you go to YouTube and it serves you up ideas, you're like, oh, well, that looks interesting.
I know.
Well, of course it looks interesting, because they've crunched all the data. They know exactly what you want to watch.
Yes.
So this whole AI thing, and I do think that I don't understand it. Only thing I understand about it is we're already influenced by it.
That's a phenomenal point. Yeah. What a great point. So take all that in, and I think the best thing is just focus on where you're at. Just be where your feet are.
Be where your feet are.
Right? And then just take inventory of that and say, you know what? The lights are on here.
That's
the air conditioning's on. I get this really fancy microphone. I'm talking to Bill.
Yeah, we're grateful.
We got 15, 18 years doing this podcast. Life's pretty good.
Yeah.
It really is.
And go serve your clients today, or prospects. Go give them something that they can't get anywhere else.
Yes.
And when you do that, you'll forget about all the other BS that's going on around you, because it's BS. And if there's a recession, chances are, if there is a recession, and I know you throw that term around, you won't know it's there until it's almost over.
You can't. By definition, you can't, because it's a reverse. It's a backward looking metric.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's been, look outside, you got 8 inches of snow on the ground, and the guy comes on and goes, okay, I got an announcement to make. There's a blizzard. And you're like, no crap, Sherlock. Like, there's 8 inches of snow on the ground. It's funny, isn't it?
All right.
That's cool.
Make sure you connect with us on the LinkedIn group. You can go to advancedsellingpodcast.com/LinkedIn. And there's all sorts of goodies, I think, that we're putting into the show notes today. I'm not positive, but check the show notes. And I think there's a goodie there for you. And we'll see you next week.
See you then.
Bye.